Hey, welcome back to another Halo video. I've been playing Halo 2 for over 21 years now, and I thought it would be fun to share some mildly interesting things that I've discovered. Now, all of these facts are things I've personally noticed while playing, and you might know a few of these facts already, but I invite you to sit back and relax, and I hope you can learn at least one mildly interesting fact today. Let's get to it. To kick things off, let's have some fun with the Prophet of Regret. Did you know there is an alternative way to kill him? Normally, Regret is completely immune to attacks from any weapon, and the only way to kill him is by boarding his throne and punching him in the face. But there are other ways to end his suffering. I spent about 15 minutes doing nothing but smacking him with the sword, and after a good workout, I boarded his throne and Regret instantly gives up and dies. If he takes significant damage from a weapon, the simple act of boarding is enough to finish him off. No punching in the face needed. Just to make sure this wasn't a fluke, I went back to my original copy of Halo 2 and I started smacking away. And it worked again. After slicing the old man with the sword for minutes on end, simply hopping on his throne is enough to scare him to death. But can we have even more fun? Did you know you can fight Regret outside of his temple? To pull this off, we will need the help of quite a few skulls, as well as a pair of needlers. The skulls amplify our explosions, allowing us to send Regret sky high. The Acrophobia skull helps us follow his movements, and with enough firepower, the world is yours to explore. Now, if you get too close to his throne, he will teleport away. But just like before, with enough damage dealt, we can kill Regret just by boarding his throne. You can also shoot him into the water and he will make non-stop noises as he drowns. Now these sounds do not stop, and you can fly around the level with the lovely sounds of the Prophet drowning in your ear. But we're not quite done bullying him yet. Did you know we can kick Regret out of his chair? With enough explosions from the needlers, we can knock him off his throne. It's fun to give him a cheeky smack, and you can knock him into some interesting places. Now watch out, he does try to shoot you with plasma from his crutch. And if you kill him, you can sometimes see this hidden plasma pistol drop. This also works in the original game. By grabbing the Sputnik skull, our dual needlers can still knock him off his throne. So yeah, I was pretty happy to find this while mucking around. Speaking of the needlers, did you know that needlers have inconsistent ammo? In any normal level, picking up any needler by itself will give a maximum of 30 needles in the gun plus 90 needles in reserve, for a total of 120 needles. But for some reason, on Sacred Icon, once you reach the first Enforcer, there are some special needlers lying on the ground, and these have an extra 45 needles in reserve. If we juggle our weapons to hold 3 of these needlers, we can get an insane 495 needles to play with. Oddly enough, something similar happens with the carbine. On any normal level, the carbine maxes out at 90 shots. But on Sacred Icon, Arbiter starts with an extra 6 shots, which is a bit strange. But then, in the room with the Enforcer, the carbines on the ground can have up to 117 shots inside. 117. Is this a reference to the Master Chief? I didn't notice any changes in any other levels, but let me know if you spot any more. Did you know we can bring a +1 to the celebration party? At the very beginning of the game, Master Guns equips us with some new armor, but we always leave him behind, and he never gets to join the party.
Maybe Lord Hood didn't give him an invitation.
But thanks to the wonders of the bandana skull, we can have access to infinite grenades. If we stick Master Guns with a plasma grenade, it motivates him to join us on the lift, and he actually stays inside the lift without teleporting out. It took a few attempts, but with enough practice, he will eventually run inside the tram and join us for the ride. Now this has zero impact on the game in any way, but it felt so nice to invite him to the party for once. And if you're feeling particularly mean, you could always stick Johnson to keep him out of the lift. Now you can't progress any further without him, but hey, I thought it was pretty funny. Fact number 6. Did you know you can hijack Marines? There are a few opportunities in the game where you can pull this off, but the easiest I found was to go to Metropolis and take the tank across the bridge. In the tunnel section, we can have a horrible accident and run over our Marine friends. Once they are hostile, if we rush to the outdoor section, Sergeant Stacker drives by and asks for help, but this time he is our enemy. As long as you get there fast enough, you'll have about 1 minute to mess around with the Sergeant. Now I discovered this by complete accident while mucking around with the tank, but it was mildly amusing to see Chief hijack his friends. Did you know you can beat Cairo Station without picking up a gun? We can strategically walk in a way to avoid all the guns on the wall. And when the Covenant break through, we can start our adventure. Just keep an eye out for guns on the floor, as they're very easy to pick up. In the room with the first boarding party, we can jump over the gun and grab some grenades. And the mounted machine gun can clear out the room. Be really careful when you throw grenades, as the game will literally throw guns at you if you're not paying attention. Another grenade cleared out the grunts, and the plasma turret took care of the stragglers. Most of the level is pretty easy to navigate, but there are some tight jumps in the later sections. But with some precise jumping, we can skip the guns. The lift outside the Mac cannon was a little spicy, and there was just enough room to walk around the weapons on the floor. And then we reached the bomb room. I only have one plasma grenade to take out a room full of elites. But hidden in the back room is a lone Marine, and after giving him a little motivational push, he's quite capable at taking down enemies. But a sneaky elite crept up behind him and put him down. It took quite a few attempts, but here was the strategy. When you exit the elevator, carefully grab a frag grenade off the ground. Stick the elite major and use the frag to take out the grunts. Let our Marine friend mow down 2 of the elites, leaving only one final elite. Lucky for me, there was 1 plasma grenade left on the ground. So with one final stick, Cairo Station can be beaten without picking up a gun. Did you know there are many strange vehicles you can flip? In Metropolis, we're introduced to the Shadow, a huge transport vehicle. With the help of some skulls, our grenades can easily flip them over, and we get a prompt to flip the Shadow. It's kind of weird that we can flip a vehicle that we can never drive. Something else I noticed is that if we flip the pilot out of the Shadow, they keep continuing their journey on foot. They just run and run until they randomly decide that they've had enough and start fighting. But wait, there's more. Towards the end of the level, we can board the Pelican that drops off the Marines. Now it has a little accident during its flight, but once we inspect the wreckage, we get a prompt to flip the Pelican. Now it will flip incredibly fast, so flip it at your own risk. But my curiosity was growing. What else could I flip? At the very start of the first Arbiter level, there are some phantoms that drop us off. I decided to use my acrophobia skull to chase them down and see where they went. After a while, they just seemed to crash and spin aimlessly. Upon getting closer, we can flip them around just like the Pelican. Again, this is all completely useless, but this put a huge smile on my face when I found this. Fact number 9. Did you know Marines can turn invisible? The Assassin's Skull turns all enemies invisible, but could this apply to Marines too? In Sacred Icon, there is a small section with a few humans fighting the Flood. Now, since the Arbiter is part of the Covenant at this point, humans are considered enemies.
Another kill for me! Yeah!
So, using the Acrophobia Skull to fly over, we can actually reach and fight the Marines. It's pretty hard to see, but these Marines are definitely invisible. But could we do this as the Chief? On Cairo Station, if you have a quick aim, we can kill a bunch of Marines at the start, causing them all to become hostile, and after a few seconds, they turn invisible. They remain angry for quite a long time. But if you are patient, they will calm down and deactivate their camouflage. This was so cool to watch.
How's it going, Walter?
Did you know the Scarab can affect your jump height? On Metropolis, just before the last section, there are some really weird jump physics when the Scarab walks above you. For some reason, when the Scarab is above you, it lowers your gravity, allowing you to jump incredibly high. Also, while randomly jumping on this rooftop, Chief will sometimes freeze in the air, as if he's standing on some sort of invisible box. I only noticed these weird gravity fluctuations in this specific spot of the level, but let me know if you find any others. Fact number 11. Did you know that seagulls are a part of the Covenant? On Delta Halo, we see these lovely flying bird-like creatures majestically floating through the air. They have different textures in the original as well as the remake, but clearly this is some type of alien bird. Now there are some other flying creatures on Gravemind that behave similar but look slightly different. But soon as you switch to the new graphics, it is clearly a seagull. I don't think there are any other seagulls or models of this bird anywhere else in the game. When did these seagulls join the Covenant? What did the prophets promise them? These are the deepest lore questions I must have answered. Fact number 12. Did you know you can jump on the heretic leader's head? If you sneak up on our favourite heretic, you can jump on his head, and he will fly around the map trying to knock you off. It's such a silly thing to do with no real benefit, but this is the price of his heresy. Did you know the ending of the Delta Halo level is a little bit cursed? First, if you take a ghost out of bounds and take it to the end of the level, we can drive it inside the building and fight the honor guards. If you let the last remaining elite board the ghost, the cutscene will play and the level will end. I have no idea why, but something about the elite being in the ghost triggers the end of the level. And during the cutscene in the original graphics, have you ever noticed there appears to be another Master Chief in the background? It's kind of weird. But let's explore just a tiny bit more. There are quite a few ways to get into the next level while still being in Delta Halo. Now you could simply fly upwards using a skull, but if you're a classier gentleman, you might prefer to use a sick grenade boost. Or even the elegance of a flying sword glitch to get on top. As long as all the loading zones have been triggered, you should be able to drop down onto the first section of Regret. But the enemies are a little confused. They only notice you when you touch them. Apart from that, you are invisible to them and they run away in panic. Fact number 14. Have you noticed that Sacred Icon changes depending on difficulty? On easy or normal difficulty, you will get a prompt to activate the pistons between floors, and you can also deactivate the plugs during the Enforcer fight. But on Heroic and Legendary, these prompts are strangely taken away, and you'll need to damage the switches to keep going. Also, while playing on easier difficulties, the Enforcer will be the only enemy in the room. But on higher difficulties, Sentinels will join the fight. I'm sure there are other difficulty-specific changes in the game, so please tell me if you know of some more. Fact number 15. Did you know there's an unarmed marine in Metropolis? In a normal playthrough, the Scarab comes along and destroys the Scorpion. But with the help from a ghost, we can board the Scorpion in time and get it to safety. Doing so kicks the driver out, and it turns out he's completely unarmed. I don't think Bungie ever intended this marine to survive. But here he is, chilling out and ready to have a beer with the boys. Fact number 16. Have you ever participated in some tank flipping? You might have noticed these blue shields on Delta Halo. Now I'm sure they have some serious tactical purpose, but for me, parking my tank on them is my ticket to fun. When the shield respawns, the physics go absolutely crazy, and you never quite know where it will take you next. But give it a go the next time you play. And for our last fact for today, it's incredibly fun to explore out of bounds. Nearly every level in this game has some way to go out of bounds. I'll share a few of my favourite things I've discovered while exploring. On Delta Halo, you can take the tank outside the level and all the way up to the highest point of the map, giving you a nice view of the entire level. You could also go underwater and explore the vast emptiness of the lake. And just for fun, why not try to fight the honor guards with your tank? In Gravemind, using the Acrophobia skull, we can go out of bounds and explore some unloaded areas. On the ground, there are some weapons just neatly sitting there. I don't know if they fell through the geometry all the way down here, or if they've been here the whole time, but it was mildly interesting to see. In High Charity, I noticed this weird floating button in the sky, and if we get close enough, we can interact with it, but sadly, nothing seems to happen. In Outskirts, we can board the Scarab early, and apart from it having no enemies, we can still explore inside and cause some damage. On the original Xbox, using grenades and the Sputnik skull, we can explore the outside of Cairo Station. Interestingly enough, in the remake only, I noticed this really weird texture I've not seen before. I could not find this on the original Xbox version, so it was quite weird to see. Now I could spend hours talking about the odd and fun things that exist out of bounds, but I'll leave the rest for you to explore. Well, there you go. Thanks for listening to my collection of random things that I have found mildly interesting. I had a lot of fun putting this together, and I hope you learned at least one new fact today. I look forward to seeing you in another video soon, and I hope you guys have a great week. God bless, and see you later.